Bonjour. I usually say hello, and I was thinking about my secret guide to Paris. I'm like, today I'll say bonjour instead of hello. Yeah. Hi. How are you? I'm doing okay. Another busy week. My day job is really busy. One of my coworkers went on a backpacking trip this week, so it's always a little bit harder when we're down somebody, but it's okay. Getting through. Thursdays are my day off, so tomorrow I just have to get through tomorrow, and then he'll be back next week. So, and we're going to the beach this weekend just to get away, and we'll be good about wearing masks and social distancing and all of that. But I just really needed a break and to get out of this house for a little bit, so we're gonna do that. Today, I thought I would talk about keeping yourself motivated when you're writing something. I think this is a problem for everybody, not just kids, but sometimes kids write to me and they say, I was really excited. I wrote like 10 pages and then I just can't write anymore. I'm afraid it's boring, or I'm afraid other people won't like it, or, whatever their thoughts are about why they're not continuing. And I think one of the best things that we can do when we're writing a first draft and just trying to get through it, obviously this doesn't necessarily apply to assignments where you have an assignment that you have to finish, and maybe it does a little bit, but my main thing when you're writing something that's fiction, and you get to choose the topic, which assignments you don't always get to choose, but when you get to choose what you're writing about, a couple of things. Make sure that you are picking things that excite you, that you like. I often make a love list when I'm writing a book that reminds me of all the things that I love about this book that I'm writing, these characters that I'm creating, to make myself excited, because it doesn't matter how long how long we've been doing this kind of work, whether it's 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. We have to keep ourselves motivated too. Like, it's not always fun. Compared to other jobs, like being a writer overall is pretty fun, but it's also work. And so by doing a love list, it is a way, when I get into the middle, and I am getting into the middle on this book that I'm drafting right now, your enthusiasm slows, wanes, and you're like, why am I writing this book? What is it? It's not any good. Like, all of a sudden the doubt creeps in, the fear creeps in. So I can go to that love list and say, oh yeah, here's the things I am excited about as far as this book goes. It's like a way to just remind your brain that this is something you want to do. This is something that you have created for reasons, and that you want to see it through. So you can make a love list. That's one thing that you can do, either at the beginning when you're trying to kind of figure out all the things that you want to put in your book. When I wrote my secret guide to Paris, Paris was the main draw, and I've talked about this before when I was talking about settings, but there's other things, that it's a grandma. It's a kind of a grandma, granddaughter, mother story in a way. And, my grandma meant a lot to me. And so that relationship is another thing that was special about this book. So you might not always remember those minor things, So make a list and remind yourself every once in a while, pull it out and go, oh yeah, these are the things I love about this idea, about this book. This is why I should continue. But the other big thing that I wanted to say is you shouldn't worry about what other people are going to think when you're writing a first draft. Your audience at that point is an audience of one, and it's you that you should be writing for. You and only you, no one else. If we get caught up in thinking about other people reading this eventually, our brain will shut down and refuse to work anymore. And the thing is, you are writing a rough draft. You're writing a first draft. No one is going to see the first draft unless you decide to share it with someone and to get feedback, which sometimes I do. Not so much anymore, but really, as long as I am having fun and I am writing the book that I want to write, that is all that matters during the first draft. And I want you to remember that. You should only be worrying about making yourself happy, no one else, for the first draft. And honestly, finishing that first draft is, even if it's not very good, is one of the best things you can do, because it proves to your brain that you can do it. And so next time, when you're having doubts and all of that, you can remind yourself, I did this before. First drafts are hard. They're not very good, but I finished one before and I can do it again. Because really, it does get easier the more you do it. So those are a couple of ideas to stay motivated and to keep going even when it stops being fun and is more like work, which happens with writing. It really does. It's very rare. I mean, I've had it happen a couple times, but I've written, I don't know, 30, 40 books. I haven't published all of them. I have many books that I write that never get published. No one buys them. It's really sad, but it happens. I've written maybe one or two that was just like a joy the whole way through. And the rest, it just is work at some point. And some are more work than others. But the amazing thing is that I don't think readers can tell which ones were easy and which ones were more work. The main thing is you just have to finish and figure out what kinds of things will get you to keep writing even when it gets hard, And that just is another thing that takes practice and just learning that you can do it, you can push through. Sometimes it's just writing a lot of dialogue, because dialogue can be pretty fun, and you just don't do a lot of description and just get through it. And then you can go back and add things. That's another tip, I guess, is if you're really having a hard time with motivation, do a very thin, draft, and then go back and add things in so that you're at least getting the story down and something written, and then you can go in and fill in the details. So anyway, those are my tips, and happy writing. See you next time.